From the new 518i to the new M535i, the BMW 5 Series now goes from £9,000 to 218 brake horsepower. The ultimate driving machine.
Hello and welcome to this week's minor service on John's Garage. This week we'll be taking a look at the history of the BMW E28. The BMW E28 followed hot on the heels of the first generation E12 BMW 5 Series. It entered production in July 1981 before finally reaching customers in the autumn of the same year. A total production run of 722,328 cars was produced between July 1981 and December 1987, when it was superseded by the BMW E34. Sales of the E28 continued in North America and South Africa in 1988 as these markets awaited delivery of the new E34 model. Development of the E28 initially began in 1975 and was led by BMW's chief designer Klaus Luth. It's fair to say that the design of the E28 is heavily based on that of the E12 5 Series, which came before it. Looking at them side by side, it's easy to see why. However, BMW were keen to move technological advancements forward and decided early on that the new model should have ABS fitted as an option. This created many problems for the team, as when the ABS system was fitted to the car, in the words of the man responsible for the chassis development, Wolfgang Maczynski, we thought the windows would fly out of the car. Such was the shaking that the ABS system produced through the subframes when activated. Luckily, BMW had a payroll computer back in the 1970s, which the team managed to get permission to use to run calculations to overcome the problem. Yes, you heard that correctly. Back in the 1970s, BMW had one computer and it wasn't used in car design or testing. How times have changed. Other technological developments of the time, which were offered on the E28, were cruise control, an onboard computer, airbags, a check control panel to warn about low fluids and blown bulbs, crumple zones, and a self-supporting body welded to the body of the car. Other impressive safety features for the time were laminated glass windscreen and single pane safety glass all round. The model also featured an effective air conditioning system which had been climate tested in Texas. This had been achieved by using an E12 development car which was painted black and had an all black interior. This car was driven daily up to 800 miles per day to test the effectiveness of the system across 3 months. Impressive stuff for the time. In terms of engines, the most commonly found engine in models offered in Ireland and the UK was the straight 4-cylinder 1.8 litre, which produced 88 or 103 braking horsepower, depending on whether it was offered with a carburetor or electronic ignition. This engine was known as the M10. The E28 was also offered with 3 6-cylinder petrol options. Firstly, the M20, which was offered in the 520i and 525e models. The 525e is an interesting if somewhat unloved engine. The 525e was also known as the 528e in North America and Japan, and it used a 2.7 litre 6-cylinder M20 petrol engine, which was optimised for fuel economy and torque at low engine speed. It was based on the 520i engine. However, rather than making it smaller to increase economy, BMW decided that it would be much better to make it larger and to therefore lower the compression rate within each cylinder. The E stands for the Greek letter eta, which means economy. According to BMW, the 525e was more fuel efficient than the 520i, which has the same rated power of about 125 horsepower. Next up, we have the M30 range of engines as fitted to the 525i, 528i and M535i. These models were higher revving and more engaging than the M20 range, which was more tuned for economy. Engine sizes here range from 2.5 to 2.8 all the way up to 3.4 litres in the M535i. Power range from about 150 horsepower to 218 horsepower, depending on the engine choice you made. It's hard to imagine now, but these were really impressive figures for the time. There is of course 2 more engine options left. And let's talk about the sensible one first, the diesel. The 525e that I talked about earlier on was intended to negate the need for a diesel option. However, when it became apparent that it just wasn't economical enough, BMW began to invest in diesel. BMW were clear in their brief to designers in the Steyr engine factory. It should be economical, but it should also have traditional BMW values such as power and performance. The first model to be offered was the BMW 524TD. It was a 2.4 litre straight six turbocharged engine producing 115 braking horsepower. It was of course based on the petrol engine, but many of the components have been upgraded. It redlined at over 5,000 RPM, which is impressive even by today's standards for a diesel engine. The figures were so impressive, in fact, that Ford America bought the engines to use in its Lincoln models. In terms of economy performance, it got 7.1 litres per 100 kilometres or 40 miles per gallon. Now there is one engine left and it's getting its own segment. This engine was the M88/3. Now that means nothing to most people who are going to be listening to this video. But if I said that engine was fitted to the M635CSI, and it was very closely based on the engine from the M1 supercar, you can probably guess where this is going. The BMW E28 was the birthplace of the M5 saloon. Not that you'd have known it at the time, as most motoring magazines seem to largely ignore it. Autocar in the UK, for example, gave it a 4-page segment, but went on to offer 7 pages to the Daihatsu Domino. Even the experts get it wrong at times, and for those of you who remember the Daihatsu Domino, it was a tiny little city car, nothing like an M5. The M5 itself was hand-built for the most part in Munich, before production moved in 1986 to Garching. 96 examples were also built in South Africa. In terms of performance figures, this model had 282 horsepower, 340 newton meters of torque and a 0 to 60 time of 6.2 seconds, and it went on to a top speed of 151 miles per hour. But despite all of this, back when it was new, nobody really cared very much about it. This means the production was low, and it's one of the rarest M cars on the road now. Okay, they go for significantly high prices due to their rarity and desirability. At the time, the BMW M5 was praised for its good handling, but contemporary reviews suggest it's very soft and not sporty. But I think it's unfair to make those comparisons, as it's very much a car of its time. The M5, despite being largely ignored when new, went on to put BMW performance saloons on the map, and it showed that a super saloon or race car that you could use every single day of the year could be developed. Thank you very much for joining me in this explanation of the BMW E28. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please don't forget to like, subscribe and comment, and please feel free to share the video. Thank you all very much. We'll see you again. Bye bye.